Okay, here we're going to start with lesson 15. I tell anyone, if you missed a day or if your parents ask, this is basically what this lesson was over, and here's the summary of it. We're basically saying the slope itself is a number that describes the steepness or the tilt of a line. As the number, this would be like zero slope if it's flat and horizontal, and as this end starts going up, it becomes this higher and higher number, from half to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and such. And that is basically, if it's moving up from left to right, as you see in this example, this will be what we call a positive slope. If, reading it from left to right, it is going down, we will call that a negative slope. Now, the calculation of slope is, or the computation of it, is actually quite simple. I will go with the way most parents know it first, and they basically say between this point and this point, it's how far did I go up. In this case, that'll be 2. So I'll write 2 over how far did I go to the other point. That's over 1, and that's over 1. Engage New York, or Eureka, teaches it a little different. You still make a slope triangle, but they do the left and right first. All right. Typically, you'll find that everybody do it this way, because you never write a fraction with the denominator first. You always do this one first. Plus, it fits that rise over run thing that so many people are aware of. From this point, as we move that way, it's a rise. How far do we go rise up or down over? And then how far to do that? But still this way, if you wanted to do the way they show you in the book, how far is it from here to here before the slope triangle? This is 1 over. You put that there. From this line here, how far did we go up the y-axis till we got to that point? And that would still be 2. Here is one of the classwork lessons from the day. And it says, what is the slope of this non-vertical line? Now really all you have to do is pick 2 points. They give you a point P here and a point Q here. And remember, we're reading it from left to right. So we know it's going to be negative, so you can go ahead and write that now because it goes down from left to right. Now, because the way the Eureka shows it is how far do we go this way first, and then how far do we go down? Well, we went 1 to the right, so that's going to be our top number. And we went 1 down, that's going to be, 1 to the right is always our x value. And this is our y value down here is 1. Technically, what you will find, if you need to see it in words, slope is the change in y values over the change in the x values. Okay, and obviously if you was to actually have these points written down, this would be 0, 0. This would be 1, negative 1. See, 0, 0. And then the next point is 1, negative 1. This will be our P point, the first one we come to reading from left to right. This is our R, it's our second point that we come to from left to right. Now, technically, if you want to go with the right number, the top number first, because they're going P to Q, that'd be our X. We went from 0 to 1 is how much? 1. From from 0 down to negative 1 is how far? Negative 1. So we have negative 1 over 1, or just 1. Because whenever you see a fraction, you're actually looking at division. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. So the final answer is negative 1. So you write m equals negative 1. Okay, from this same sentence, it asks again, what is the slope of this non-vertical line? And the reason they say non-vertical, just in case they didn't have it in their notes, a vertical line is considered to be undefined. It has no slope at all. Okay? So, but here we have our P, and we have our R. I'm going to actually fill in the slope triangle for those people who are parents or tutors just not seeing it. Now, basically, remember again, the way Eureka does it, it gives the x value first, the left to right. So that's going to be on the bottom. The change in y, change in x. The change in x from here to here is obviously just 1. Okay, so we put 1 down here. Now this is a negative slope, so we know it's already going to be negative. So when we write slope equals, we know it's going to be negative. And now we went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's negative 4 over 1. Now remember, slope is a ratio, but for most practical purposes, if it's over 1, we just do the math. What's negative 4 divided by 1? Negative 4. And that's just that easy. We're going to do one more, and this is all we did in class. Now this one, from our P to our Q to our R, reading left to right, was all one number. Okay, so it had no change. All right, as far as our Y values go, our X value went from 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have basically negative 2, 1 here, negative 2, 1, and our R value is 1, 1. Okay, now we write basically how much did our X values change. Our X values change by 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll put that here. M, or our slope, equals 4 divided by, well, our Y's didn't change at all. No matter what, this is 1, this is 1. It did not change, so that's 0. And obviously 0 divided by 4 equals 0. So we have a 0 slope. So in their notes, they could simply write that this is the graph of a 0 slope, and the only thing that has a value then is y equals 1. So you'll write that as an equation, y equals 1. And all that means is no matter what x is, no matter what dot you put on it, y is always going to be 1. So we just write y equals 1. A very simple lesson, I would think. Along with 15, we did have one that referred us back to a previous lesson. And it was just to show that on a graph, that basically as the x's increases by a set amount, y would increase by a set amount in any linear equation. And in fact, it states that for a linear equation, y will increase by whatever the slope is for every consecutive change in x. So from 0 to 1 is a consecutive change. From 1 to 2 is a consecutive change. From 0 to 3, it went up 3.5. Obviously, if you had another 3.5, you'll have 7. If you had another 3.5, it's 10.5, and another 3.5 is 14. So it's safe to say that our slope for this is 3.5, or 3 5/10. Okay, now basically the rest is just simple. Time is given in minutes, and V is the gallon. So the first question was, how many gallons of water will the faucet lose per minute? Well, all you need to know is per means basically for 1. You go to 1 minute and see that the unit rate is 3.5 gallons a minute. So you would write 3.5 gallons for number A. Letter A, you'll write 3 5/10 gallons. And you can write it as a ratio a minute. And in other words, what is the unit rate? And that makes sense. Assume that the graph is a situation, is a line. What is the slope of the line? Well, we've already figured that out. Okay, but to do it mathematically, we can pick anywhere that this graph passes through an actual intersection. So this one will be a nice one here. Okay, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and this is 1, 2. So this is 2, 7. And this is 0, 0. So this is 0, 0. And this is 2, 7. Now remember, we read from left to right, so this will be our P, and this will be our R. And now we make our little slope triangle, and I'll make it like this. Okay, now this is Eureka's way. Now when you watch video lessons online, they're going to do it the other way. Their slope triangle is going to go up first, they're going to rise first, and over. But in either case, as long as you know that the left to right is the x value, okay, then I can write my slope is, it went over 2, okay, and it went up what appears to be 7, right? So 7 over 2 works out to be 3.5 to 1, okay? Because 2 goes into 7, 3.5 times, so we just have 3 5/10. Quite simple, okay?